Hi guys, Avix here, and welcome to Specialization Artillerist Guide Part 3. I'm not a native English speaker, so please understand if my English is not fluent enough. In two previous videos, we covered most basic parts of playing Spec RD, and in Part 3, we are going to cover gem setups and some economic point of views in Lost Ark. At this moment, I guess many of you are suffering because of high prices of accessories, especially with class engravings. You might have had many thoughts about which engravings you would get after 14-15, but the reality is there might be so little amount of valid accessories in the market that you would be grateful to get any one of them. That is how Lost Ark works, and you're gonna realize in some point that big part of playing Lost Ark is about managing your finance. This is a very tricky part, and I'm worried that my short English would not be enough to explain those complex concepts, but I'll try my best. The reason why economic point of view is connected to gem setups is because gems are the material with most constant value over time. And even after you set your gems, you can exchange it into gold at any time, or even dollars, which is kind of illegal, and I don't recommend that, but it is possible. So setting your gems in the right way will cost less amount of money with same power, and with that money you can upgrade your gears or get better engravings, which will lead you to playing higher chaos dungeon, playing harder raids, and getting more weekly income. So it gives you a strong start that will make your roster grow faster. This is the gem setup I am currently using, and this is how I rotate my skills. But I think you have already watched a lot of stuff like this, and if you're trying to improve your character by looking at what Koreans are doing right now, you might have seen setups like this hundreds of times. What I'm trying to say is that it is not important what Koreans are doing right now, it is more important to know what Koreans have done in your eye level. But there is not many Koreans who can tell what they have done before. You're just seeing the final result, not knowing the story behind that. So this Korean, myself, has upgraded his gear to high enough level, and since upgrading gear set does not really help his power anymore, despite the fact that upgrading gear costs absurd amount of gold, he started to upgrade gems, card set, quality instead. Therefore, I have 100 quality weapon, Light of Salvation 30, level 10 barrage, level 9 homing barrage, air raid, something like that, but that is not necessary for you. There are many aspects of upgrading your character, and some of them have good value to gold ratio, but some of them not. This is the gem setup I used while upgrading my gear set from 1520 to 1590. And before 1520, Barrage Gem was level 9. I wanna tell you about when I was 1460 or something, but back then there was no such thing as Barrage Enhancement, so I'm talking about the similar situation instead. I would not recommend this exact setup because it is a bit extreme, and it was before balance update which improved multiple rocket and air raid, but still the damage proportion of barrage damage versus normal damage is about 55 to 45 in optimal rotation. In order to upgrade 55, you need to upgrade only one gem, and in order to upgrade the 45, you need to upgrade 4 or at least 2 gems for homing barrage and air raid. And also, you might remember from part 2 that there is different damage proportion according to your engravings and stat setups. I told you that it is matter of preferences as long as you follow the guidelines, so if you choose the setup with high barrage damage proportion and upgrade your barrage gem, you're getting more damage by lesser cost. And that's what I did. I was spec crit with Hitmaster, Keen Blunt Weapon, Firepower Enhancement, Barrage Enhancement, Spirit Absorption, and I added Adrenaline 1 later. So by excluding Grudge, I was able to tank all the attacks and get into Barrage mode whenever I was charged up. Barrage Enhancement 3 gets you more proportion for barrage damage as well, and instead of upgrading my weapon to highest level, I upgrade weapon and armors to the same level because tanky means more damage for my case. And also, Hitmaster and Spirit Absorption are comparatively cheaper engravings, so I was able to get 100 quality accessories with same or less cost. That means more specialization, and if you remember part 1 video, specialization increases barrage damage more than normal damage, so another damage proportion. This is what I call synergizing your setups. You have many choices about stats and engravings, and within the guidelines I gave you in part 2, they are all good choices. It is only a matter of preferences. But if you try to find out the ones with better value with lesser cost, and understand what to focus in your setup, you're gonna be much stronger than others with same budget. You need reasons for your setup, understand the strength and weakness, and make the strength bigger by your setup and playstyle. I'm going to show you some of my gameplay. This is 1475 RT playing Vyakis hard mode, so little bit overgeared, but not that much. And this is not a guide video for Vyakis, I'm just trying to show you what happens to Spec RD in raids, because Vultan and Argos are just like Tricium boss. You can see that I almost fully charged my firepower before the fight, and after that I start my usual rotation. But because of the cutscene, I couldn't finish my rotation by homing barrage and air raid, and since I was forced to exit barrage mode, I still have entry to it, so double barrage mode technique here. And another usual rotation with my awakening. But because of this pattern where enemy flies and be invincible, my homing barrage, air raid, multiple rocket is delayed, and some of them did not land at firepower level 3. And this time I got knocked out during my flamethrower, so I couldn't charge my firepower like my usual rotation. And you can see I'm using homing barrage and air raid earlier to charge extra firepower. I got entry to barrage mode again, but unfortunately in this pattern, the enemy gets damage reduction and you have to get outside to survive. This is completely random pattern, so just unlucky. And we begin another fight. In this case, it is one of the patterns where the enemy stays in one position, so rather than waiting for firepower level 3, I decided to land my normal skills and charge firepower. Then I got the chance to fully hit barrage skills, and another homing barrage and air raid. But the enemy just got into damage reduction again, so I wasted another homing barrage and air raid. This is another one where enemy stays in same position, so I use normal skills in firepower level 2. And there's a stagger mechanic, and I do head attack with swing. 바꿔. 내부 안쪽 인사이드. And then our job is done. Gate 1 clear. This is only an example, but did you see how many times my rotation was interrupted and what I had to give up in those situations? I didn't give up Barrage mode because it is the most powerful attack and also it is in the middle of my rotation. So I gave up Homing Barrage and Air Raid most of the time. Earlier I said that ideally normal skills take about 45% of your DPS, but it is based on the assumption that I use those skills twice in Firepower level 3, but this is the reality. Spec RT is great class, but it doesn't work the way you want. It is about constant compromise and adapting to the situation. This is why I told you not to be obsessed with optimal rotation. This is why barrage damage matters the most, and this is why you need attack and movement speed more than you think, especially for inexperienced players. You might feel this more and more as you fight harder enemies, Cuckoo the Clown, Belshazzar, and so on. I went a little bit off topic because I wanted to show you what difficulties you're gonna face, but I'll get to the point now. For your gem setup, barrage damage and cooldown, homing barrage damage and cooldown, air raid damage and cooldown, multiple rocket launcher damage and cooldown, summon turret damage, forward barrage cooldown, energy field cooldown are the usual choice. Barrage cooldown gem is for smooth QEWQ or QWEQ, but because of attack speed difference, some of you might not need barrage cooldown, and if that's your case, replace it with summon turret cooldown or anything you want. The most important gem is of course barrage damage. If you're spec crit and you have barrage enhancement level 3, I suggest to get at least 3 or 4 level higher one than other gems. If you have enough gold to get level 7 gems for all of your spaces, I suggest you to get level 9 gem for barrage and fill others with level 5. It might be same or cheaper, but much stronger. If you're spec swift or you have barrage enhancement level 1, your normal skills matter slightly more. So the gap between barrage damage gem and others should be 2 or 3. So if you have level 7 gem for barrage damage, get level 5 for others. If you have level 9 gem for barrage damage, get level 7 for others. If your budget is not enough, level 9 for barrage damage, level 7 for homing barrage and air raid, and level 5 for rest would be fine too. The point is to give different level of gems according to how important and effective they are. If you're spec swift with all level 7 gems, you might be same or slightly stronger than spec crit with same gems because of your cooldown and optimal rotation, but if spec crit gets level 9 gem for barrage damage and put leftover gems for others, spec crit might be much stronger with lesser cost. That's the magic of economy. You should also consider engravings in financial point of view. The ones I recommended in part 2 video are all valid engravings, but they might have different prices. Garage would be the most expensive one, followed by Keen Blunt Weapon, Adrenaline, Cursed Doll, and Hitmaster and Spirit Absorption might be the cheapest. If they are all valid, choosing the cheaper one and strengthen it with stats and gem setup will save you a lot of money. And my personal recommendation is Hitmaster, Keen Blunt Weapon, Firepower Enhancement, Barrage Enhancement, and Spirit Absorption with Spec Crit. In this setup, you're gonna get better attack movement speed than normal Spec Swift setup, but similar or more damage expectations for Barrage skills because you can get Salvation set, which is more valuable compared to Hallucination. For downside, your CDR for normal skills might not be enough to run optimal rotation, but you can just use your normal skills in low firepower level, giving up some normal skill damages, but getting faster rotation, resulting in more damage through barrage mode. I'm gonna show you setups from my friends who are playing Spec RD as their alts, Obviously there are my influences in their setups, but they are all satisfactory about theirs, and my 1.5 year of experience tells that setup has a good value over cost. First one is 1487 and he runs Curse Doll instead of Hitmaster. Second one is 1495 and he's actually thinking about changing his main to Artie. Third one is a lucky bastard who succeeded 9/8 stone, so he's more engravings, and because of the crazy prices of ancient accessories, he is using mass increase as a budget setup for now. You can see all of them are using higher gem for barrage damage, and because level 7 gems are easy to get in our price range, we are using level 7 gems for empty spaces, but for you guys, level 7 gems might matter and can be exchanged to a lot of gold, so please don't let it go to waste. If you have enough gold to get level 7 gems for unimportant spaces, upgrade your barrage gems into level 9 no matter what it takes, or sell it and upgrade your gear. If you don't like my recommendation and prefer builds with more normal skill proportions, such as Spec Swift with Barrage Enhancement 1, you will have to wait for bigger window of opportunities instead of using Barrage mode every time you're charged up. That means you need better understanding and faster learning about your enemy's movement and mechanics, and I highly recommend you to get Grudge as your engravings because you are less forced to use Barrage mode than other builds. You will get benefit from multiple gems, so you need more balanced gem setup, but at the same time it would cost a lot more to upgrade those gems. As long as you understand the mechanics and focus your gameplay in slightly different aspects, whichever you choose is totally up to you. They are all valid setups, you just have to play it right. So this is the end of part 3. I spent a lot of time and showed you a lot of things to explain the importance of Barrage Gem. Sorry if I bored you out, but I prefer explaining instead of just telling you what to do. There are so many things I want to tell you and show you, but the time and space and my English are always not enough. I hope this video helps you understand how Spec Arty works and what difficulties you face outside of Precision, and helps you get through those difficulties with reasonable prices. I'm really grateful that my guide was helpful to some people and I got to make new friends throughout the world. Thank you very much for your support, and good luck on your Vulcan and other upcoming raids. Bye!